Well, here he is. I got you. You ready?
Yeah. Goodbye, Detroit. Goodbye, Big Tire. Hello, Big Apple. Is your job?
He's got all his stuff. Look, he even brought his Clio. Crazy, man.
We originated from Waterford, Michigan. It usually takes us 13 hours. My son Eric did it in 9. And then it took us 2 hours last night to cross the George Washington Bridge. So welcome back to New York.
I got a call. You know, it was just kind of out of the blue. There was an interesting project going on, and then they told me who else was coming, and I knew the other people because they were of my generation in advertising. I was a little skeptical, frankly, about the whole idea.
I don't know what to expect, and that's intriguing for me because when somebody gives you a narrow box to work in, the thing to try to do is see if you can break out of that and do something completely unexpected.
Here I am on a plane, going back to New York, back to the scene of the crime, you know, our most famous advertising. And the most exciting thing is I'm going to see Bob. You know, we haven't worked together in 32 years. Bob, we were like the perfect team for each other. He was the Italian art director. I was the Jewish copywriter. He was the eyes, I was the ears. And we did everything together.
How you doing, buddy?
The first display ad basically said, find out more, click here. And then the 15 years that followed, that's basically the only innovation we saw. And so response rates declined from 35% to 0.09%. People just got tired of seeing the same type of advertising. If you did the same ad in any other platform repeatedly for 15 years, you're kind of going to get tired.
When you say banner ad, I think clutter and annoyance, of course. I mean, everybody has the same superficial reaction.
Hasn't advertising always gone to where the eyeballs are, from the first signs to those, you know, newspaper ads that were all crammed together? I mean, we are constantly chasing people's attention because we aren't the thing that people are looking for. It's just so many people don't know how to do that well yet on the internet.
If we were obsessed as much today with content and ideas as we are with technology, we would begin to make some progress.
If anything can be, it can be good. I mean, if you have time to make it, you have time to make it wonderful.
Like, to come up with great display advertising, you need to first come up with just great advertising. We started thinking about how can we inspire better display ads? And not just better display ads, just better ads online, and open everybody's mind. And the best way to do that, we thought, was to take the work that defined the industry 40 years ago and the people who defined the industry 40 years ago and see if they can come back and redefine this industry today.
We thought, what better way to do it than to take people that you least expect to be able to do it amazingly well, and take work that you classify as from a different era. And if you brief those same people to take those same things, knowing what we know now, what would they do?
So we brought them out of retirement, took their most iconic work, and took the idea that was still relevant and worked in the 1960s and the 70s, and brought it to life with modern technology and as just an expression.
There's something deeply comforting about people who've been there and done that. They've seen change before. This isn't really about, can we make that ad work in display? I think it's more about, can that idea become, you know, something more powerful?
I like to teach the world to sing. Sing with me. Perfect harmony. Perfect harmony. I like to ride the world folk and keep it company.
I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
You ate it, Ralph.
Trying harder
is still the best way to do business.
You can drive a Volvo like you hate it. Cheaper than psychiatry.
When we used to be editing a commercial, at some point Bob would go, cut, and 2 seconds later, I go, cut. I said, what are you thinking? He said, well, his hand was here. I said, yeah, but he was in the middle of a sentence.
My own impetus is a little bit of insecurity. Can you do it, champ?
I hate pretension. Is that good enough?
I was born in 1932. Technology has left me pretty much in the past, largely because I tend to ignore it.
I'm not an expert at my computer, but I do email. Occasionally I'll use Google to look up something that I'm interested in. Computer drives me crazy.
All I know of Google is the search engine. I use it mostly for email and to look up all my aches and pains and what disease I think I probably have and are going to die from.
The first day in, we were completely immersed in a technology meeting, surrounded by 35 people. They just filled us in on the reality of what they were capable of.
My name is Mike, and I am part of the product marketing team for display ads at Google.
I'm Joe Sparks. I'm from the Terracent Group inside of Google, and we do something called dynamic advertising.
I'm Sally Cole. I'm on the marketing team.
What drives it from 5,000 hits to the millions? What process? It can't be word of mouth, can it?
What you're telling me is that there can be 25 different things that you sent out.
Oh, 2,000.
Okay. That's hard for me to grasp. When I see the banners, it looks to me like you were in an ad agency, you could do it in the morning. To have something go whoop and maybe whoop. So I'm baffled. How and when do they come up?
It's the most fast-moving, complex, ever-changing, competitive industry in the advertising space. People think it's too complex, too geeky, and the buzzwords, and people shy away from it. And so we have a role in making things simple and easier because we think it's simple and easy.
But everything that you see here is all possible on a phone. So
You mean a smartphone?
Yes, exactly.
Because I have a phone and it doesn't do that. It just makes phone calls.
I don't understand, and I'm going to find out. My problem is absolute ignorance.
If technology is done right, it's almost like magic. It should feel easy to use. This should be something that is a new toolkit that unlocks creative minds.
When we got to Google, it was so enormous that you walk long, long hallways, past meeting room after meeting room, where there were all of these young people sitting around big tables doing what, I have no idea.
Oh God, it's insane. They were barefoot and they're cool and they're young and they look great. And God knows what they understand and do.
I thought it was so amusing. I said, it's like a playground. It's like elementary school.
We needed a guide constantly.
I would like some coffee, please. Catch me in a moment. I've always been a writer, ever since I can remember, including third grade, but I had no idea that I was going to be in advertising. I can tell you I didn't even know what advertising was. It's very simple, but if you look at it, it is an argument. It is a syllogism. We're number 2, but we try harder. We're putting our name on the line. We can't afford to give you a dirty car. We can't afford to give you windshield wipers that don't wipe. We can't afford to give you dirty ashtrays. We presented a company that was willing to work for you. It was sort of like tacking up the manifesto on the door. And the one thing I'm sure we did is kind of write a manual for the whole rent-a-car business. I think we hit a chord. People talked about it a lot. They were intrigued by it. So when people started to say, hey, we saw your ad, it's terrific, everybody kind of perked up. They began to be very proud, and the whole organization changed. The cars got better care, the customers got better care. They began to get a lot more customers. Their advertising has included the "We Try Harder" for years.
I worked in New York from about 1964 to, about 20 years. I'm retired, but I miss the action. I miss the Sturm und Drang. Somebody said, "Are your creative juices flowing?" I said, "Not only that, they're the only ones."
Morning. Hi.
Morning.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine.
Please be seated. I'm Harvey Gabor, one of the 6 grand old men of advertising.
When you created Hilltop, what was that thought? What was that one thing that you kind of said, okay, this is now taking it from something that's okay to something that's really great? Because Hilltop had like a real message and an insight.
I don't really have that one. I can tell you how it came about, which is mostly instinctive. The hero was the song. I think the next thing that was very important was the humanity. It talks about the world, but it really speaks to one person. There were 2 guys in England, Cook and Greenaway, who had a lovely melody, which was so simple, and it was so beautiful. I thought that it would be interesting to do a united chorus of the world. Tepidly, they liked it. I thought it was really pretty good. Of course, the rest is history. People were humming it. Coke got 100,000 letters from people saying that they loved it. It matched their personality perfectly with the brand. This is now, you guys got to correct me if I go in the wrong direction. I'm old at it and you're new at it. I think this is not just me, I think the song is sacrosanct. I think that we don't touch the song other than I can help you edit it if you want to. I want to buy the world a home and furnish it with love. Silent Super. Want to buy the world a Coke, click. Grow apple trees, honeybees, Snow White, turtle doves. Maybe if they click, maybe it's a thing where it goes and it shows a frame where you're buying a friend a Coke. Maybe it's the... I want to understand more of what the depth of the banner is. Surely it's more than a strip across the top. Surely this week is going to be something a lot more than that. I can't imagine it would come up to the 62nd in terms of emotion or depth or feeling. I can't imagine that. It looks to me like it'll always be a step down. The most important thing is that we get enough people in here. The rest of the stuff, the doves and all that stuff, the real subject of Buy the World is the people.
How do you feel about maybe, instead of showing the people, is there anything to like connecting people?
You know better than I do how to start connecting people. You know, how about your mother-in-law? I don't know, it wouldn't be her.
There are so many ways that you can connect what someone sees on a screen to the entire rest of the world. It's daunting. And that's why the best thing we could possibly do is connect together deeply technical people with creative counterparts and actually explain to them how close they are in goal and temperament, that they're makers. And where we put those people together well, you see amazing things.
Are we sitting together?
Do we always sit
together? Let me get my pen. Our classic commercial is made for that box, and it's isolated one moment. Everything happened right in that commercial.
I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
You ate it, Ralph.
I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
No, Ralph, I ate it.
I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
Take 2 Alka-Seltzer.
And there's like 25 of us around this long table. Beef and pasta and fish and chicken and salads and lobsters and desserts and the wine and the brandy. And I'm a nice Jewish kid from the Bronx. I eat everything in front of me. And I lean back and I go, I can't believe I ate the whole thing. And my wife says, there's your next Alka-Seltzer commercial.
Did you drink your Alka-Seltzer?
The whole thing.
It was shared around the water cooler. It was shared. Anytime anybody sat at a table and felt that thing and they said, I can't believe I ate the whole thing, they were instantly funny. They were a hero. And that's why it spread. Very much like the viral stuff you feel today. 3 networks. When you put it on, everybody saw it, everybody was saying it, and sales were turning back up again.
How many of us have shared or even sent an email, either a photo of what you're eating, your guilty pleasures you're indulging in?
Krista says, just ate so much, frown face, I feel like dying.
That was from Ty, you like it, man. Thought I was gonna die.
I just ate all the red and pink Mike-and-Ikes, now what?
So is this a site that's dedicated to food and
No, this is just the social sphere, you say anything you want, and yet this is all in the last minute.
Once we start looking at it like this, you can immediately see sort of what technologies are going to start becoming applicable to helping us, really bring that sort of direction to life. There's something really nice about the fact that we're dealing with a medium that for the first time we can interact and see things happen in real time. I mean, we can affect it. We're not just a passive.
And affect the conversation. We can speak to people.
Yeah, exactly.
The medium is social. You could share really cool things with your friends. And that's what the great advertising is now. We're letting advertisers and consumers interact in ways where it really is now a two-way dialogue.
The users are telling us what they're interested in, where they want to go, they're telling us stuff about them, and so it's an opportunity for the brands to create dynamic experiences, compelling experiences, have conversations.
Can you give us some insight into what your original Drive It Like You Hate It was tapping into?
Drive It Like You Hate It was visceral. Its personality grabbed people's attention. And when you ran an ad like that in a full-page bleed in Life magazine, which was a format by 10 5/8 by 14 inches, it jumped off the page. It was powerful.
Volvo gets over 25 miles in a gallon of gas, just like the little economy cars, and runs away from other popular priced compacts in every speed range.
In 1962, they were anonymous. They needed help almost everywhere in terms of an identity and a personality. We said, let's make this car brutally real. And so what happened is that Volvo sales began to soar, up maybe triple to what it was in a 4 or 5 year period. God, I remember getting in the car with this rally driver. He said, Emil, he said, would you like to go for a spin? I thought it was the dumbest decision of my life. This guy drove like a maniac.
And you can drive a Volvo like you hate it. Cheaper than psychiatry.
This is on YouTube?
This is on YouTube. Yeah, we've been looking at it for a while.
You could probably see all of your old work on YouTube. You just need to search it, yeah.
I don't think we're locked into sort of just speaking about Avis's mantra.
Mhm.
I think we can definitely open it up to actually demonstrate.
Oh, I think that's much more interesting. The concept is this pride, and we do this because we can't afford to do otherwise. We're not number one. We don't say we're not number one, we say we're only number two.
She kept bringing us back to trying harder, not being just a tagline, but a 3-word manifesto.
I was concerned that technology would rule rather than the idea, because I think they can get swept away by all of this newness, like little toys to play with. But that's really not the point. That's not the point of advertising. The idea is primary.
I don't know why you need the execution to come with a broader idea in terms of an appeal.
I guess when I'm talking about execution, I'm trying to find that
Well, you've got an ad.
beautiful thing.
You've got an ad, if it's done right, is a brilliant execution for a banner ad. Am I right about that, or am I not?
Yes, I think you're right.
Let's deal with that. That's what we've got. My question is now, how do we get people to see this thing? Don't get it any more complicated than that.
Yeah.
We need an ad for our ad.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's an ad for an ad. And that's what the banner ad does. That's what the first 15 seconds does. Thank you.
Emil was tough. His role was basically to kind of come into it as being, all right, you guys are the guys with the technical knowledge, you guys are the new creatives, bring it. He didn't want us to kind of just come back with something that was to do with his old campaign. He wanted us to innovate and come up with something new.
They will tend to become ensconced in a lot of smaller ideas. And it's my job, I believe, to keep bringing them back to what the major idea is, because it can be executed in any number of ways if they can keep focused on who are we trying to reach, what do we want to tell them, and here's how we're going to do it. If I can get them to stay on that, then that's my job.
They see a tiny box on a screen, and they know that box can do anything. It can see, it can hear, it can sing, it can play, it can take directions, give directions back, it can change, morph, grow, do just about anything. So if creativity loves constraint, that is the absolute removal of restraint, which is sometimes liberating and sometimes can just send you into sort of a dead, flat spin.
But it's about being able to say, here's the vision, and here are the new boundaries, and let's figure out how we deal with all this wonderful technology we've got.
If Bill Bernbach were here, what would he say about what's going on? I believe he would say, you're making it too complicated. He said, among many other things, always adapt your technique to the idea, never your idea to the technique.
If we went into this saying we have to improve on I Can't Believe I Ate the Whole Thing, we'd be putting a bullet in our head. If we say there's a basis for some kind of connection using I Can't Believe I Ate the Whole Thing, but it really has to be totally reimagined and become something else, that's the opportunity.
You don't know where it comes from, but there is a process, and that is understand the problem, and then forget about it.
I sat down one time to try and define it, and I came up with what I call the 4 I's of creativity. First I is intuition. But there's an intuition, but we don't have very much information yet. So the second I is information, and let's find out what this is about, let's see the technology. And then the third I is incubation. It's like a creative soup, you go to sleep, you go in the shower, you're not thinking about it, and then all of a sudden the fourth I happens, it's inspiration. And then you have an idea. What if, just a thought, but I can't believe I ate the whole thing, 30 seconds, 1 line, and yet there's a whole life there, there's a whole story. He's got relatives, he's got friends, they've got their relationship.
Is that his wife?
You know what else it is? It's trust, because you got to be able to trust that whatever you say is going to be okay. And a stupid idea can lead to a great idea.
I don't like this idea. No, I'm saying,
don't do that to me.
Howie believes we're geniuses. I believe we're idiots, and we're both right.
No, I said I'm a genius, you're an idiot.
Either way, the combination works.
Harvey and Matt. Matt's in Paris, Harvey's on his computer in New York City.
Got you.
And when you click this banner, this comes out.
You can do that?
We can do this.
That's very good. I don't have a particular way of working. I read the strategy, do all the research, it's a stream of consciousness, etc., etc. What inspires me is to recreate the feeling you get when you think you've nailed a creative project, and it's a rush. If you're working with a partner, you say something, he hits the ball back, he gets excited, and pretty soon you have something on the table that the world never saw before. The song is going to continue to play, the picture stops, and then you're off to the vending machine.
Yeah, I think that totally works.
We're in Clover, and we're just fine.
All right.
The creative moment is instantaneous, and it's the greatest feeling in the world. You're in flow, they call it. Nothing beats it. It's better than sex. My wife gonna see this? I remember sex.
Have you considered taking an actual owner who may have 240,000 miles on a Volvo
was looking at the Volvo 100,000 Mile Club, and the guy who started that is a guy who has 2.7 million miles on his Volvo.
Now there's the guy. You have to get a hold of that guy.
That's great. He's in New York.
See, that to me is great advertising. When you can take something like that and turn that into a nice piece of human film. Boy, that's real substance. That's wonderful.
How do we tailor that for a banner?
That's your job.
He tells you, don't tell me how they're going to interact with it. Don't tell me, what the button's going to look like. Just tell me what the story is. And when we knew that story, we knew immediately how to start bringing that to life. We all knew it. We walked out of the room and started working on it from that day, and the rest was just the clockwork of production.
If I learned one thing from this, it's that the idea is still king. We're just dealing with a new way of bringing that to an audience.
But tomorrow we're going to be presenting a couple of ideas to these brands like Coke and Alka-Seltzer, and hopefully they're as excited about them as we are.
We're finalizing the ideas and figuring out what it is we want to show. So we have teams now kind of almost in real time as we start to get to more concrete things, feeding us what we're supposed to be doing for their presentations like bright and early in the morning. So it's going to be a long night.
This is really the situation room. This is heavy.
Well, Lisa has a good view, right? The situation room. So basically, we're just trying to figure out the thread of how we're going to present this and how we're going to set the creative work up.
I'll probably take them to the board first. Then I'll sing and point to stuff.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
I think we're
Sounds
good.
great.
Thank you, sir. We are tasked with a daunting thing of recreating something that the world loved and doesn't want touched. It's like sacred, holy ground. And so you're kind of scared to mess with it too much. We're gonna have a lot of work to do tonight to kind of get this presentation up to snuff and make it what we want, but it's close. Thank you.
See you later.
The night before the first presentation to the brands, if you're being honest, we were all really nervous, like, how would they react? Will they like the ideas? Will they let us play around as much as we wanted to? There were a lot of very long hours, a lot of sweat and tears that went into getting to that idea.
Good night, guys. Good night. Ciao.
It was a very tough process. We were all up till like 5 a.m. When we first went to the brands and asked for their most iconic ads and told them that, hey, we really want to play around with these, it's like somebody giving you their baby and telling you, like, go have a fun day. It's scary for them.
Oh my God. From what? Holy cow.
Harvey, I wanted to introduce you to
Harvey,
Jackie.
I'm Jackie.
Jackie, nice to see you.
Nice to meet you. I've heard a lot more about you than you probably heard about me.
Thank you. Well, 40 years ago, Bill Backer and myself had a wish. And the wish would be to buy the world a Coke. So 40 long years have passed, and I've lived long enough to know that now we can deliver that pitch tomorrow. I want to buy the world a Coke and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honeybees and snow white turtle doves. You know what a great 125-year-old soft drink needs? Bang, click, bang, click. A little magic.
This will be not only a banner on the internet, but also we will have a functioning vending machine that is synced with the internet. You pick where you want to send it, and all the way across the world, the Coke will come out of the machine with a message from it, who it is from.
I mean, it's wonderful. It's beautiful. I love that you didn't touch the song and you kept it exactly as it was. It's how it should be.
Do you think this is something from our standpoint that we should move forward and try and, make it happen?
Absolutely, it's an idea that can move forward.
Thank you.
The photos.
Very good.
It was so good.
One photo.
The point is, if a 78-year-old man who's barely ever used the internet can come in sit with us for 48 hours, and then come up with an idea of how his work from 40 years ago is going to be translated into a display ad, still makes sense, and actually advance the idea. I mean, that's fascinating.
Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. Hi, Emmy. Hi.
So this is just giving you an idea of where we were sort of looking at. As a first example, we're talking YouTube content, right? So how can we sort of take the pre-roll that exists before the movie, and instead of just having it as an ad that causes disconnect, that can now be this great little sort of prequel into what they're about to view. It's like a fun, entertaining prequel that Avis provides that leads as a nice segue into whatever content they're viewing about.
They were thinking about the young new consumer, not necessarily the regular traveler. You know, they were looking for something more hip in terms of how to do this today.
I don't know. I guess it all depends on the topic. It could be narrow, right? The topic it could be a very small segment of people that are truly interested, that want to keep reading about and seeing everything about this, so that you're a little bit a leap of faith.
Yeah.
That you know, I might have seen the movie, but I may not be that interested. I guess I like it when it's a real story versus a fabricated story.
The solution is in really finding out what's in the product as you discuss it and all these things. And sometimes you hear it in a meeting with the client, but the ability to identify that that's what you've heard is important.
Think of how many people take the time to write stories today, write letters and thank people. Most of what people hear in the service industry is when things go wrong. So when you do get those, you know, usually it's really made an impact if somebody writes in and tells you what went really right.
It's very interesting how you learn from the personal experience and the ability then to turn it into something that you think other people will understand as well.
So let us as a team kind of regroup and kind of bring something back to the table if we can.
Sure.
Yeah.
After the rejection, I think it was very difficult. But I think it was a very important learning meeting, because in saying what she thought, she outlined a whole lot of stuff that we didn't know.
We're only a decade and a half into this. It's TV in its first 10 years, or radio in its first 10 years. We've got, I think, so much more to go.
There's the Wright brothers who had this marvelous invention, and scientifically, technologically, it's mind-blowing. It changes everything, sort of. But it isn't until there's the DC-8 or the DC-9, and lots of people can fly, that the world changes. So if we invent things here, that's great. But until we get them to a point where a lot of people can use them and use them well, they don't have the power to change the world.
In the original commercial, despite being a rich character, we only meet Ralph at the very end of the day for a very short moment. In that 30 seconds, people sort of got a whole feeling for a relationship and a problem. And so, what happened? What really went? Who is he? What did he eat? So the idea is the day Ralph ate the whole thing, and you can participate in it. So this is an immersive display experience that shows Ralph's day in a parallel with the viewers, playing out with a new installment each hour of the day.
We can bring things from my world into the banner. This is really where the personalization comes in. The time on the wall, it's the same time as the time that I'm looking at in the corner of my screen. The weather outside his window is the same as the weather outside my window. We can impart all those little cues that we've got about this person, and we can serve it back to them in a way that they feel that connection suddenly with Ralph again.
It's just the tip of the iceberg, so it can be tailored to what you feel is relevant in the message at the time.
You know, it's exciting for someone like me on the brand today to be part of such a rich history and heritage, you know, of something that was so iconic. And, you know, living with that legacy, it makes me really proud. It also makes me feel a little bit of pressure, you know, to keep that going. But I love, this is a great way to do that. So thank you very much for your guys' time.
I think brands are just looking constantly to figure out how to best use their marketing dollars and cut through.
I think in some ways consumers really build brands in ways never before, and the brands that are smartest are taking advantage of that. They're providing more and more opportunities for consumers to help build their brand. And back when I started, there wasn't really a great way to do that.
When we stumbled on this story of Gordon, we thought, could there be a better testament to what Emil was talking about in that original advertising back in 1963? And what it really boils down to is 3 million miles worth of memories, right? So we've got this huge emotional jackpot. And using Google Display technology, we can actually send those stories direct to the person that they're going to be relevant to.
We could actually outfit his car. We'll do it very carefully so Irv won't
Get upset.
get too upset. But to count where he is in the world right now, and in this reliving of the story, and then counting up towards 3 million.
Sure. We're a humanity brand, and this is humanity at its best. So how could you not think this is spot on? It's brilliant.
It's difficult, I would think, to sit here in an office and try to imagine what he may have been through. Sitting and talking to the man himself and having him reveal over an extended period of time some of the interesting stories of his life, I'm sure have got to be fascinating. He may very well have befriended a lot of people in the course of his driving.
How are you?
Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Wow, the car's in beautiful shape. Is this the P1800 or is this a different designation?
P1800S.
It's the S, okay.
Stories.
This is, oh my God. My God. I thought my wife kept things, but.
You can drive a Volvo like you hate it. They're built that way, you know? They can take a lot of punishment.
I almost wore my jeans. Why didn't I? Everybody else did. I just didn't think it was proper.
Hi, nice to see you again. How are you?
Good. We really took what you said last time on board, and I think we've come up with some really good, strong directions. So our idea was, can we capture authentic customer experiences by inspiring people to turn their written testimonials into personalised visual stories? The plan would be that with a team of illustrators, and we can actually turn people's letters into these small animated films. Our plan is to develop thousands of these individual frames that are going to turn these letters into something that could be actually really quite touching.
So a customer did just write a letter normally in plain English, and then we would sort of, with the algorithm, parse it through and figure out which of these 1,000 frames make sense and stitch the video on the fly. And the output is a 30-second video, which lives in that banner, and then you can do all social things with it, right?
Well, it's a crowdsourced campaign.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
But
it's a framework that keeps it true to the brand.
What distinguishes you, besides your service, is your attitude, which appears in your ads. And I think this new idea of using the technology is another kind of advertising that sets you apart.
You took a lot of the feedback from the last session we had, and I think you guys did a nice job of sort of keeping it authentic. But I like the idea of this opportunity for people to kind of create their own. I do think about how wide and vast all the possible screens have to be to make that kind of come together in a way that would be cool and interactive. But I like the concept.
What you're seeing here is a listing of the hundreds and hundreds of letters that we actually received from Avis that helped us shape our logic and how we put together what these scenarios would be. They're all encapsulated in this one huge spreadsheet that's just absolutely mammoth.
So you've got this massively complicated artificial intelligence system that's taking, how did Avis try harder for you, and saying, I know what that scenario is, and I know what parts of the story there are, now how do I tell that back in animation?
2 quadrillion, 302 trillion, 857 billion, 158,400,000?
What? Items of awesomeness. This number's just for the illustrations. So really this number is going to be bigger when we figure this thing all out.
So today I've been drawing generic locations. Here's a beach, and these are all drawn into a grid which Johnny has devised, so these individual assets can all interlock and create dynamic animations. There's a lakeside, some mountains with ominous black clouds, suburbia, nice white clouds.
It's still right at the beginning, and we don't quite know how many animations we're going to actually be able to produce and how they're going to fit together and what stories are going to be made. It's animation, but with a little bit of magic in it.
I was saying it's a bit like that feeling where you're going up to the beginning of a roller coaster. It's like, you have no idea how high you're actually going to go up. We don't really know the full extent of what we have to create yet,
No.
but we know it's a lot.
We'll just end up going, "Ah!"
So this is our mobile banner that Ricky has actually developed and I designed. You'll see this little tiny sliver of a banner with the Coke ad in it. When you click, it actually will play the original commercial.
And then we play this visual voyage, this animation that simulates the free Coke being sent, and there it is to Cape Town, South Africa.
The Volvo tablet execution has to work across all of these different tablets. So all of them have their kind of own quirks. And if something goes wrong on one, it's not guaranteed to be going wrong on the other. So you have to kind of troubleshoot case by case to make sure that everything's functioning the way it is.
When you want to watch a video right now, which website do you go to? Do you watch it on your TV? Do you watch it on your radio? Do you want to watch it on your iPad, phone, laptop? It's like, it's the same choice of media and technology, right? And it's the same thing, like, oh, should we put it in a banner ad? Should we do this? Should we do that? The challenge right now has become not how many things we can come up with, but what we can do without.
We do this full time. This is all we do, and yet I am constantly learning about new things that that were just invented last week. The speed of change is really overwhelming, and I think that's also that's the exciting part, but it's also the challenge.
I mean, the business has gotten very fast. You know, we used to have maybe 3 weeks to solve a problem. Now you got 3 days.
Now you got 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
This is not like any other TV commercial. This has never been done before, so it's not going to be easy.
At this point in the scene, they've just gotten out of this sticky situation with these people, and now they're ready to start interacting with each other while they're in the car, and you get to kind of propel them into a ditch by playing a little radio roulette.
This is essentially a logic diagram, right? So imagine this is the point where you get the first option to choose a radio station, right? The film is playing, pauses. If for 3 seconds, they're like, what if I could change this song again?
In the old days, all we had to worry about is the line funny?
This is a work in progress, and he's modeling it after some of our favorite 70s TV shows.
Right. I like the look, I like the typeface. The only thing I would question is the is smaller than the whole thing, and I think of the whole thing as an entity, a unit. Do I get a hug?
Absolutely.
All right, Milt. Good to see you.
You know what?
40 years?
Manger. In French, I can't believe I ate the whole thing.
You speak French with a Yiddish
You're
accent.
kidding.
What's with that?
I'm #1 in the country at a put-on artist.
Give me the line once more. Just let me hear it.
I can't believe I ate the whole thing.
We were trying to find our Ralph, a guy who was like the original character. And finally, just before the last day of casting, we found this guy, Larry. He actually embodies the original character.
Hey, Mark.
So here we go.
When you click, it'll poke him in the face, and it'll be like you're poking him in the face, or you can shake him.
We're still rolling. Are we good? Yeah. Cut. And we cut.
We need to now have a look at this shot.
2 crews going on at the same time, 3 things being set up at once. It's a little different than the solitude of the bedroom.
When you look at it, you'll see things in the opening sequence that relate to you.
Right.
So you'll see like it's in your town. The idea is to get it as synced up to the street view as possible, so you can see like we're kind of moving the background with the foreground.
So he's actually driving down your street.
Oh, wow.
We're on the road with Irv Gordon as he's driving towards 3 million miles. We're filming this as a road trip, so we're getting some awesome footage, some great interviews with Irv, meeting a lot of characters along the way, and it's just incredible to see the effect that Irv has on people as he drives through these towns, and to hear them when they find out he's driven nearly 3 million miles. It's just astonishing.
Nothing has ever been like this. The video production is very, very interesting, very confusing, very erratic.
Okay, ready? We're rolling, so action.
This car's never let me down yet. I love my Volvo.
Once they click it,
We created the personality. That's what advertising agencies do. They create personalities. They create an association and a persona that is largely the creation of the creative people in an advertising agency.
We're constructing this banner ad for a tablet. This is a really rough beta test. So if you just drag that little guy across, you can see that we actually start scrolling through the different stories, and up here, the odometer's changing depending on...
That's funny.
But so if we go play video, then we go straight into the experience.
When I was 7 years old, my folks decided to spend the entire summer traveling around the United States. And we went just about everywhere anybody'd want to go. And it was a trip that I never forget. I've been trying to recreate the feeling I had on that trip ever since. I like to stop every couple hours, you know, see what's going on in town. It's fun. Meet a lot of nice people.
We've got his car hooked up to Google Maps, right? So we can actually see how he's moving along, you know, as this campaign's live, you know? We can have him updating in real time where he is.
It has a nice feeling to it. There's a lot of warmth to the thing. And I like his homespun kind of view of life, and the fact that you take the long road because that may be the best way to go somewhere.
If you click that, this is the moment that your Coke actually goes from where you are in Michigan.
Wonderful. No, it's great. Google Earth.
Yeah.
Type's got to be bigger. If I'm on the computer, my eyesight's pretty good, it's too small.
Yeah.
Even if you did a drift in on it or something.
Yeah.
We're trying to target a 10-second or less render for a 30-second video, so this FPS needs to be up to 75. So that's 750 frames in 6 seconds.
What I didn't understand was if I'm doing it and somebody else is doing it and somebody else is, you can accommodate all of those.
Everybody in the world.
In 15 seconds.
Okay, I really don't think I want to know that. I think that's too much for my head.
I was going to say, should we pull up the motion test?
Yeah. Here we go.
Here's one from Rachel. After visiting an Avis branch in Mountain View, she realized she mistakenly left behind her cell phone. Michael, the customer service rep on duty, was happy to help, searching high and low and eventually finding it in between the seats. He promptly returned it to her. If we don't return a lost item, we could lose the customer. After all, Avis needs you. You don't need Avis, and that's why we try harder.
Well, it's something else, isn't it? It's terrific. I think you're very far along.
Okay, I think we go that way.
From a consumer standpoint, you just type in, I had a great experience with Avis today because they held my car because my flight was delayed, send. And what comes back is a person speaking just like you or me that says, Mike had a great experience with Avis today because his flight was delayed and they kept the counter open for him.
After popping into an Avis branch in Westchester, she realized she'd misplaced her cell phone. Was it in the glove box? Under the seat? Trapped behind the bathroom sink? One of our associates, Iris, was happy to help, searching high and low until she found the item and returned it on the spot. We're still a little hungry. Customers aren't a dime a dozen to us. That's why we can't afford not to return a lost item. It's all part of why we try harder.
That's right. That's right. This is the setup to the montage in the beginning. Yeah. And what it tries to do is reflect the whole disaster of his life.
This is your little opening 70s song for if this were a sitcom?
Oh, yeah. Good. Don't let the itty bitty bumps in the road get you down. Don't let
Here we go.
the itty bitty bumps in the road get you down. Put on a smile
head for the bright lights of town. If you're gonna do anything, do the whole thing. If you're gonna do anything, do the whole thing. Life is a feast, so go and make it. Love's all around, just reach out and take it. If you're gonna do anything, do the whole thing, the whole thing.
Man, it feels so much like of that genre, you know? Like here's our 70s sitcom.
Yeah, it looks good, right?
Hey, what are you doing? That's my TV.
Alka-Seltzer is taking who you are as an audience and customizing a story to you. So a story starts being told, and then you get to a point where you want to customize that based on who you are. We might have a series of 10 clips that are relevant to different types of audiences or different geolocations, and we would bring that part of the story in.
Poke Ralph's face.
Oh, that's great.
And you're gonna wake him up.
Yeah. I'm pulling his eyelid. Oh, it really moves around, huh? Okay.
You
good.
waited?
I did.
Why didn't I listen to myself? Now what am I gonna serve for dinner tonight, huh?
Oh, I can't believe it. I ate the whole thing.
Yeah, you waited.
I can't believe I ate the whole thing.
So the concept was it's going to be personalized, and I get that. I'm seeing it personalized with my weather right now. Does this mean when this runs, it's going to be personalized for thousands of people?
Yeah, I still find it boggling.
And Bob right now is in Massachusetts, probably getting snow, right? Poor Bob. I'm in LA.
What did they say? You can take the Bronx out of the boy, but you can't take the boy out of the Bronx, or something like that. I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille.
Argentina. Here's a small gift from me. I'm Nelly from Cape Town. Bye.
Nelly de Cape Town. Mando un beso de Buenos Aires.
Oh my God, that's so great.
Disbelief. Good. Still pretty good.
It's incredible me trying to not be nervous and practice my speech. So today is the introduction of Project ReBrief in the market. This is the first time anybody outside Google and the agencies that have been working on this will get to see what we are doing. We'll find out, this is where rubber hits the road. The day is actually really focused on the icons, them coming out of retirement and inspiring the next generation to do things that they did 50 years ago and make ads, you know, that people will love, remember, and share 50 years from now.
Every day, this question comes up. How is it that digital technology is affecting storytelling?
Technology is helping to re-inspire and reinvent storytelling in ways more fundamental than the invention of the moving image. More importantly, technology and storytelling are dependent on one another.
I don't think I've ever felt a better sound than that clunk.
I know.
We were all just like,
it was a huge sigh of relief.
It was the best sound ever.
A machine created an emotional experience. That's seismic. It's going to change the way things are going to be done in the business. It reminds me of when print went to television.
Tonight you had 75 people in a room, and they looked at this, and everyone went, because it was that magic. You felt like you were empowered to do something, and that's very different than banner ads used to be.
What technology has enabled has changed the whole culture and society, such that how brands work and how people relate to them has changed fundamentally.
I mean, I'm on my computer 6 hours a day, 7 hours a day. There's something there that's amazing, and it's not just emails and stupid videos, and there's things that almost on a daily basis blow my mind.
How do we start using technology, to make ads that all of us will remember 50 years from now, just like we're remembering this ad from 1962?
I would say the internet is more creative than TV with advertising, perhaps because you can take greater risks on the internet.
It's important for us all to constantly be geeking out. We have to all be using the tools and the things that we're constantly talking about.
The web is evolving all the time, and it's getting more and more natural how you handle it. It's getting better in so many different ways.
We live in this world, and we can pollute it, or we can embellish it. And advertising is everywhere. And companies have a responsibility to improve environment and certainly not to destroy environment. It's like the Hippocratic Oath thing, isn't it? First, do no harm. First, create no ugly mess. Second, create some delight.
I definitely believe the potential for telling great stories is there. I feel like we're just starting to see it. The fact that there is so much more to do, there is so many ways to find crazy, interesting expressions for the thing you want to do, it couldn't be a more exciting time.
The truth is probably that we're really only at the beginning. We're really at the beginning of change. And to see Emil and to see Harvey and Bob just come to grips and succeed in adapting to these new opportunities, I think it is a very comforting thing for anybody else who's working today.
I'm hoping that this is the moment that we shift the industry. And our role is to help facilitate that.
We grew up in those days in an age of, we had control, advertising controlled, and we could tell you and we could sell you, and we push the message out. Now we're in this age where we're sharing. You have to share.
The act of just trying to create something, and you think, what can I do to make it better? What can I do to make myself happy? And I think that's the first requirement, is if you make yourself happy, there's a good chance you'll make somebody else happy.
I've loved it. I haven't been doing anything for some time. The little gray cells get very lazy. And it was good for me. It made me think again. We Try Harder is somewhat the story of my life.
What Google did was very creative. They said, what would happen if we married the best of the old and the best of the new? No one ever did that before.